Collections Part 1 Hashmap. In many other programming languages, you have what they call an associative array, where you can call an element in the array using text or a string instead of a number. Let's say the first position key is foo and the value is bar, so you can call the name of the array, and in the rectangular brackets where you put the index, you put the string foo and it will return bar. And that's basically what a hashmap is. It's basically one of the ways you can simulate an associative array using Java. So, if you want to use a hashmap, you need to import Java util hashmap or press Ctrl-Shift-O so it will import it automatically. Let me demonstrate. Let's delete it. Now we get an error that it's not imported. We can either hover it and press import or Ctrl-Shift-O and it will import it automatically. To initiate a hashmap, you write hashmap and then the smaller than and the bigger than sign, and between them you put the first data type will be the data type for the value, the key of each value, and the second one will hold the value of each element. And then you write the name of your hashmap / associative array equals new hashmap, and you need to put the bigger than smaller than sign. To populate it with values, in our case it's countries, you write country, which is our hashmap, dot put, and then inside its argument you put two values. The first one is the key, the second one is the value. So here we have Germany and Berlin. So if we call the country Germany, we will get its capital Berlin. If we call France, we will get Paris. If we call England, we get London. Now, in a regular array, you use length to call the array size. Here, you use a method called size to call the hashmap's size. Now, in the example I was talking about, if we want to call the value Berlin, we need to call the name of the country Germany. It doesn't have to be Germany, it can be anything. But just for our example, we'll do it like that. And so here we output the value of Berlin by using get and calling the key Germany. This will return the value Berlin. Now, you can also check if a key exists using an if. If country contains key French, output the value of French. That way, we make sure that there is actually a key which is called French in our hashmap, so we can get its value. Here it will print Paris. And finally, we loop it. Sometimes you need to go over the array and iterate over it. How did they call it? They call it process an array. So if you want to process a hashmap, you can use the regular for each. Now, here, the value you will get each time the loop runs. You've seen this in the last lesson. If you don't know how to use a for each loop, please go over them or go to the Q&A and tell me what you didn't understand. But it would be better if you go over the videos a few times. So here is the data type of the value. If the value was an int, you actually don't write int, you write integer, or whatever, a boolean or anything else, you would have to write that data type here too. Value is just the name of the variable we will use to store the current value in the loop. Now, basically, when you loop an array, after the two dot sign, you put the name of the array, but here you need to call the values, because we want to loop the values. We can also loop the keys, but I wanted to make it as basic as possible, so we will only loop for the values, meaning first iteration of the loop, we will get Berlin, Paris, London. And also I would like to separate these two with a line, so we can see it when it's outputting to the console. Now we can run it. Okay, as you can see, first it outputs 3, as 3 is the size. We have 1, 2, 3 elements, that is correct. Then we print the value where the key is Germany, which its value is Berlin. The key is Germany, the value Berlin. So we get Berlin. Here we simply make sure there's a key called French, and then we print its value, which is Paris. And after that we loop the hash map, or process it. As you can see, all the values are here. In most cases, I think at least 80% of the cases, you'll need the values more than you'll need the keys. So I showed you an example of how to loop the values. I don't expect you to master a hash map, I just want you to see the basic syntax, so if you use it in the future, you will have a reference point, or at least you would have seen it used at least once, like here. So again, this is the data type of the value, which is this one, the second one. The first one is the key, the second one is the value. And after that, we call the hash map, the variable holding the hash map, and we call its values. And the loop will loop each value, as you can see here. That's basically it. To put a value, you use the method put, write the key and the value. To get the size, you call the method size. And to get a single value, you use the method get and call the key, which is connected to the value. This key will point to this value, etc., etc. And I also showed you how to actually check if a key exists using contains key and the key name. And after that we simply output the key's value to make sure we got it right. As you can see, it is Paris, which is correct. And finally the loop. And that's it for this lesson. Again, if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A to contact me, and I will try to do my best to help you. And that's it for this lesson.